Welcome to the semifinals of the Geekery Super Sunday Series. We've got Queen on the left playing Naya and Justin on the right playing, I believe it's 4-color Cord Vannifar Tiki Jiki combo. Queen opening up with a Curd Ape, Justin with a Grove into a Noble Hierarch. These decks, I don't know how much they interact with each other.
The burn deck, or the zoo deck, if they just stick creature, the game kind of just ends.
Okay.
From the pod deck, you really just want... Gosh, Kitchen Finks, I guess, is your only real answer to any of this, or you're just trying to win before anything happens.
Queen
so it looks like Curd Ape.
That's Curd Ape playing his third Curd Ape here. Let's see how good these are.
I mean, there was a day where those were some of the best creatures in Modern.
Yeah, they were some of the best creatures in Magic if we're talking about Arabian Nights. Those guys were awesome.
They also, they're 2/3s. They die to Lightning Bolts.
Yeah.
They get blocked by most things in Modern nowadays.
Yeah.
So they've just rotated out of favor. Same with Wild Nacatl, a card that was banned for a good time and now sees almost no play in high competitive Magic.
Format's just shaped up in different ways. We're looking at Justin's hand. He's got just a bunch of cards.
He has a Spellskite, which is huge here.
Spellskite's very nice here. It blocks, it redirects burn spells. It
He has Grove, so he's not really killing his opponent too quick.
I think he's going to do infinite damage when he does damage, so he's not all that upset about it.
Looks like he does have a Knight of Autumn, so he can gain 4 life.
Yep.
He's able to chump one of the Curd Apes.
I think you'd probably rather put the tokens on it.
Counters?
Yeah, counters, yeah.
I guess that makes more sense. If Justin happens to have an Atarka's Command, it can be pretty rough.
Yeah, well, Queen looks like he just has a Bolt to kill that, and then a Goblin Guide to just make everyone feel sad about it.
So yeah, that's one of the problems with trying to make permanent threats, is if there's ever an answer, it always is like a worse situation, but it's always a better situation if it sticks around.
Sure.
Here's a Light Up the Stage. One of Steven's favorite cards.
I'm a big fan of that card.
So Queen did find his land drop.
Temple Garden here.
Which means he can opt to... Oh, he didn't shock. I guess it was Temple Garden.
It's Temple
He had
Garden.
red mana. Yeah. It was a bit rough. So next turn he can go Burning Tree into Vexing Devil into Goblin Guide.
Yeah, it's a pretty good turn.
And force quite a bit of action. And then if he happens to draw Bushwhacker, the game could just end.
Here's a Wall of Roots out of Justin. And then Spellskite. These should soak up quite a bit of damage.
Spellskite will be nice at least blocking 2 damage. So you can block 2/4, take 2/4, 8 if you decide not to let the Vexing Devil stick around.
Queen just picked up his 4th copy of Curd Ape to round the suite out. It's very nice for him.
So you sadly can't cast all the red spells in your hand.
Yep.
So you probably go...
1, 2,
Burning
3.
Tree.
Oh,
no, you don't have enough red mana.
you don't,
You have
you're
a Temple Garden. So you probably go Burning Tree, red spell.
We have to go red spell, green spell. Yeah, no.
So you use the other red mana to cast another red spell.
Burning Tree making red-green is just a little bit awkward.
Yeah, there's a standard variant that makes red. It just doesn't see as much play.
Sure.
It's a bit harder to cast, I believe, too. I believe it is just red.
Red.
Yes.
Yeah. The hybrid mana symbols on Burning Tree is quite nice.
And then here comes a Vexing Devil. Justin does have to decide if he wants to take 4 damage or if he wants to let it to resolve. What do you think the better situation is here for Justin?
I played Splinter Twin. And so a lot of times I would let things like this happen with the thought that I'm just going to kill them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go to 6, I'll just let it resolve. But I do not know what he's got in his hand or what he's got in his deck. So it's kind of a tough decision. I mean, especially at that life total. If you go down to 6, you're in 2-bolt range.
So he does opt to go to 6.
Yeah, but also Vexing Devil can kill all of your blockers. So there's... what would you like? Do you like what he did?
Vannifar Pod really doesn't have the luxury of being an instant speed combo. Like, it doesn't have a card that says I win.
Sure.
When you cast it. You have to let Vannifar resolve, you have to pass the turn, and on your next turn you win.
Yeah.
So, like, the permanent threat can be a bit rough to deal with sometimes.
Okay.
It is hard to say. He is missing his 3rd land drop, so it's looking a bit rough. He has a Kelpie in hand.
Yeah, he's kind of gotten stuck on mana.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
So
That's a breaching hippocamp.
It's a Kelpie.
What is Kelpie?
It's just a seahorse. I don't think it's a card. It just looks like a Kelpie.
Oh, you're just saying a word that isn't a magic card. I'm pretty sure that's a breaching hippocamp. It is a...
You are correct. It does untap creatures,
It is
which is why it is run in the deck.
That was printed in Theros It is not Thoughtseize that's getting eternal play.
Yep.
So that's something, huh? I don't know. Theros is a pretty
Lackluster set.
yeah. It was a pretty sad time.
Thassa sees a lot of play as well.
Does she?
Same with Keranos.
Keranos is cute.
Keranos is great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see what happens though.
Justin in the tank. I mean, his decision trees have got to just be massive.
He has Cord for 2, Cord for 3 because wall.
Yeah.
Cord for 3, get Kitchen Finks, block, lose a bunch, gain 4.
No,
You're
he
still
dies.
just dead.
Yeah.
You can go get.
Go to
He's
4.
gonna shot. He could go to 4-drop now,
Yeah.
which could be.
It's
There's
It's a
Vannifar.
Vannifar.
So he still has the option. No, he still has the option to Cord for 2, if need be.
Yeah.
But I don't know what 2-drop is great in a situation like this.
And Queen just drew the
Goblin and Bushwhacker.
Yeah, it didn't
well,
matter.
that will be the game.
The old handshake on game 1 because you beat me so badly. All right. Yeah, thanks, Queen. For game 2, Queen has decided to go down to 5 cards. Justin's going to keep a 7. Queen, I think, pondering his scry right now.
I mean, you're either looking for land or action.
A
It can be a
lightning
tough
bolt
decision.
is what he wanted. The scry rule is something that's been around long enough that I kind of started taking it for granted. But Magic was misery for a long time.
Yeah, there's a point where you didn't have a scry and you just had 5, 6, 4 cards in hands.
Yeah. You kept just going down, and you're just like, I'm never going to win this game.
Like, there's a chance now. And then the London Mulligan rule that people have been trying out is very interesting as well.
Yeah,
You always draw up to 7, and then for each time you mulligan, you put a card to the bottom.
I think that's actually. I mean, I don't know how to work in these formats, but I think that in
Standard.
standard draft, it really just makes non-games of Magic less often.
I think in Modern as well, it does the same thing. Against decks like Dredge, Phoenix, any kind of combo deck where you're looking for maximum velocity, you're able to find a better hand by going to 7, but after sideboarding, your opponents that usually wouldn't have any answers in the main board is able to dig for their answers to your strategy.
Sure. Sometimes you're stuck in a place where you're playing the fair deck, your opponent's playing a combo deck, and you're stuck. You can mulligan to try and find your hate, but your hand at 7 is very reasonable. You're just going to play up the curve, and
Hope you don't lose on turn 3.
yeah, and this kind of gives you a little more latitude in not mulliganing to a hand that doesn't play Magic together. I used a lot of negatives in that sentence, but I think it's discernible. Justin appears to be fetching.
For a Hollowed Fountain.
Did not want that Kitchen Finks on top.
Didn't. So we do have a Goblin Guide.
It's good.
So good.
Yeah.
Does everything.
Queen just ripping lands right off the top. He's got a Path, a Boros Charm, a Reckless Bushwhacker, and a Bolt. So he's got 7 points of burn.
Hey,
and
there's
then
a Flooded
Hasty
Strand.
Look at all this value. This
Yeah, right. This
pod
Goblin
deck is
Guide
picking up.
is not worth it. It's on 4 damage and let Queen draw a card, or Justin draw a card.
Yeah.
That is underwhelming.
Bad ratio. This is a Scrib Ranger out of Justin.
He can stun tap some creatures, and
Scrib
it's got
Sprite, I think. Excuse me.
Scrib Scout.
Scout?
Scrib something.
There is a Scrib.
But it does have protection from blue. Very relevant text in some matchups.
Not this one.
Doesn't happen to be this one, no. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Cryptic Command, both of which are very powerful, and this kind of negates both of those quite well.
Yeah, it also, the relevant text on it is you can return a forest to your hand to untap a creature you control, which with Vannifar just lets you win the game.
Yes, you up the line chain from a 2-drop into the 3-drop of Bounding Krasis, into Breaching Hippocampus, into Zealous Conscripts,
yeah.
into there's some 6-drop that lets you get 2 creatures, and then you chain both those up again. It's
Woodland
like
Bellower.
there's like some weird chains.
And God forbid you draw any of those.
Yes.
You're just sitting there looking.
It runs multiples of different variants.
Sure.
So it does have, like, if you draw like 1, you're not hosed. If you happen to draw like 3 of the same CMC that do the same thing, then it's real rough. But a lot of the times, if you untap with Vannifar, you win the game. That's kind of just the gist of it.
It's pretty good. Justin a little bit in the tank here. Understandably, he's got that line you just described to go through.
The line of 14 different creatures you have to think about to find. But we'll see. He has a Reflector Mage in hand. He can
Yeah, he can. The Reflector Mage on the Goblin Guide puts Queen back a turn. It gives him a lot of breathing room. I don't know how attractive that is. Also, this deck, it is decision trees deck because his fetches are not reasonable either. He has a million colors.
4 colors, I
yeah,
believe.
good God.
You're blue, white, red, green, and most of your deck is green. You're splashing blue for just a lot of the utility creatures. You're splashing white for a lot of the utility creatures.
Yeah.
Red is there for like 2 cards, I believe.
Like sometimes you need to cast
Yeah.
Kiki-Jiki. Like, what a nightmare. We see the Reflector Mage coming out.
Luckily, Price of Progress not a card in this format, so
Yeah.
greedy mana bases aren't the worst. Blood Moon
Yeah.
can be rough though.
Yeah.
Well, especially.
It powers you into Kiki-Jiki sometimes. It's just like, okay, thanks. Wasn't going to win this game before. Queen fetching for a Sacred Foundry. Is this Boros Charm going upstairs, you think?
It has to.
Yeah.
You have no choice, really. You have to force through damage. You have to hope you can just get a kill on the next 3 turns before Vannifar comes down.
Yeah.
Because Justin's in a spot where if he ever draws Vannifar and plays a land into Vannifar and Queen doesn't have the win next turn, the game just ends.
Sure. So he's got double Reckless Bushwhacker here.
So, I mean,
Unfortunate.
hopefully he can draw a land next turn, go
Yeah.
land, Goblin Guide, Bushwhacker, swing for 3/5, and then bolt at end step, so that's 8 damage. It puts him to 2.
Yep.
But I mean, if Justin just has Vannifar
He
land
does.
here,
Yeah.
he just wins. Whether I don't know if Queen knows this. I mean, he's gonna find out about 2 seconds. It doesn't look like Justin has blue actually. Oh no, he has Hollow
Yeah,
Fountain.
there's a Hollow Fountain in there.
So yeah, this is just gonna be maybe a Kiki or maybe a Kitchen Finks even. If you're worried about dying, but I don't know if you're worried. I think you just try to win by playing Vannifar.
Yeah. What is Vannifar's power toughness?
She is a 1/4, I believe.
1/4 is incredibly relevant.
But Queen actually has Path to Exile, so
Oh,
power
great.
and toughness did not matter there. And then Queen is also able to cast a Lightning Bolt here.
2/4, yeah.
And then if he draws a land, he's able to go Guide Bushwhacker.
Yeah, I think you have to clean up that Reflector Mage because it just blocks too well.
It kind of does, yes. So next turn you can get in for 5 if you draw a land. There's a lot of ifs.
Nacatl. So he's got Nacatl Goblin Guide. That's not a
That's
terrible
still not
turn.
worse. It's harder. It makes triggering your Bushwhacker a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
But I guess you can always just hardcast it.
Yep.
Here's those 2.
That's what we'll see. Oh,
Can't attack with Nacatl, sadly. Does get to, there's a Kiki
There's a
Jiki.
Kiki-Jiki
He is
outside.
able to cast Kiki Jiki.
yeah.
Do you think that's the play here?
I don't think he can cast Kiki-Jiki.
He can. He has 5 mana.
He's red, red, red.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's red, red,
it
red.
is red, red, red.
Kiki Jiki is a very mana intensive.
So him drawing Kiki-Jiki is a little unfortunate, I think.
Luckily, Justin does have Kitchen Finks.
He has Kitchen Finks. I think he also has another Grove. So he's got it covered a few ways. I don't think you really want to cast Kiki-Jiki right now, but
No, I don't think he would. I guess you can go Kitchen Finks, next turn go Kiki Jiki, and if you just make infinite copies of Kitchen Finks, you're probably going to win the game.
well, it's not even infinite. It's just like finite. Just make
Yeah,
one
yeah.
block, gain 2 life. All right, that's great. Kitchen
So
Finks.
here's the Kitchen Finks. Gain 2 life, trades with this Nacatl, gains 2 more life. So he's at 10 for the next couple turns at the very least.
I think Kitchen Finks has got to be the worst card for
Zoo.
Zoo to see.
Especially, like, it's not so much Burn. Burn has ways around it because they run a lot more spells.
Skullcrack and they can just burn you out.
But the Zoo decks are so dependent on their creatures that if this is a path? Nope, Vexing Devil.
Vexing Devil.
Yeah, that the Kitchen Finks is like a 3-for-1 a lot of the times.
Well, it's going to trade for 2 of your creatures, and it's going to negate 2 of your burn spells. Like it is very, very good.
Whereas the just mono red burn style decks that are splashing white for Boros Charm and things like that, they run mostly spells, so it's more or less 3 mana, gain 2 life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe you Skullcrack it on the way in, and then you just
Yeah.
ignore it for the rest of the game. Yeah. For a while in early Modern, Kitchen Finks was the best thing you could be doing in Magic the Gathering. I don't know why, like what the meta was, but man, that card was just amazing. I guess Pod was around, it turned into 2 creatures, it blocked really nicely. It did anything you wanted it to.
Yeah, always potting away these creatures with Persist and Undying is very good.
So
So Justin has the option to go Kiki Jiki and just start copying his Kitchen Finks and just gaining 2 life a turn.
another line is to make an infinite number of Bounding Crazies. I don't know which one of those is better.
Oh, he has Bounding
They're
Graces.
both on the board. We'll see which one he picks. I don't know what the right choice is here.
So, I mean, Maybe you're worried about path to
we'll play around a
exile.
bolt or something. Yeah. And looks like Justin is just passing the turn.
Yeah, so he's going to go for the Kiki-Jiki combo of gaining 2 life every turn.
I mean, he still wins the game if he does that. He doesn't need to go infinite.
So here's a Bushwhacker. Now it's just safe to make infinite Crazy.
Justin explaining that there are an infinite number of blockers here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. The second Bushwhacker does nothing. For game 3, Queen has gone down to 6, resolving a scry right now. Looks like he's going to put that on the bottom. Justin, ready to go on his turn, drawing his card preemptively.
Yeah, really wants to see what's
Goblin
going on.
Guide, that's what it is. Go straight to hand.
If Justin doesn't have a turn 1 play, he will have to discard. So
Yeah.
does negate the Goblin Guide a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you drew a card and you have so many options, but he does have a Noble Hierarch, so
Sure.
drawing a card for free, taking 2 damage, not at its peak, but you will get to attack for 2 every turn, so you really don't care if they draw a bunch of lands. That is the gist of Goblin Guide.
Yeah. Goblin Guide, another 2 there.
There's a Vannifar.
He's already got a Vannifar in hand.
I mean,
I don't know how
multiples, Queen does have paths.
Sure.
You saw it last game. So they're in certain matchups, multiples is fine.
Yeah.
In this matchup, I believe it is something that you do want to see. Queen does run 3 paths.
Yeah.
So you will only usually be seeing 1, and as long as you see 1, you're usually safe. So the multiple is just next turn I play it again. Do you have an answer? I win.
Yeah, so the Queen's got Burning Tree, Gore Clan Rampager, multi-format All-Star, and Wild Cattle here.
All
He
right.
just powers all those out.
So Justin really needs a 3-mana threat. Maybe he has a Kitchen Finks, which would be amazing here, actually. He has
Eidolon Rhetoric.
Yeah.
Can't cast more than 1 spell a turn. It's a 1/4 blocker that also incidentally shuts down the Bushwhacker plan, Bushwhacker plan is admittedly very, very strong, which he immediately drew.
He can hardcast it.
He can. It's a 2/1 haste. It's not that attractive, though.
So if Rhetoric does block, do you opt to cast Gore Clan or cycle Gore Clan to pump it to kill the Rhetoric?
I would almost rather just get more damage in. I feel
Yeah.
like the Eidolon of Rhetoric is slowing him down a little bit, too.
Okay. Not being able to cast a Vannifar. I mean, the deck doesn't really cast many spells a turn.
Yes, that's true.
It casts 1 spell a turn. It's not really slowing down Justin as much. Next turn, he's going to play Vannifar. So it looks like he will opt to kill it.
Yep. Justin seems sad about it, so
I mean, it's rough. Like,
Yeah.
next turn, if he grabs Bolt, he can go Bolt, Bushwhacker, swing for probably lethal.
yeah.
But it's a tough decision. Looks like he will just take
7.
2, 5, 7. Yep.
Yeah. It's quite a hit.
So yeah, Bolt into Bushwhacker here does just end the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Justin draws any 1-mana spell, technically he will just end the game. Or I mean, Queen.
Yeah, I mean, so once Justin has to start blocking with the Noble Hierarchs, it's putting him an increasingly high number of turns out of Vannifar. It just is just pushing that clock back a little bit. Picking up a basic island.
I mean, he
here.
might just try to cast Vannifar here.
Yeah,
and
Vannifar
just hope
blocks.
he lives. If he does live, he wins.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big part. If he doesn't live, then he tried his best.
Yeah. Oh, he's got another Vannifar. He's got backup. Yeah, the Vannifar can go take the Noble into a Scrib
He has a
Ranger.
Huntmaster in hand.
Wow. Okay.
I might be. Yep, Huntmaster
That's
of the
the
Fells.
Huntmaster of the Fells. Sure.
Gain some life, make a wolf. If this ever flips, you get to shock something
yeah.
and face, and then if it ever flips again, the game has been in your favor for too long.
Yeah.
We'll see what Queen does here. Queen, if Queen draws a 1-mana spell, Justin's forced to block.
yeah.
But
Our tournament organizer coming in with a fine wolf token.
making sure to accurately represent the board.
Yeah. If the Huntmaster's pretty bad, even though the Justin's gonna have to start blocking. If he trades it away, that's a pretty good tempo swing for Justin here.
I mean, Queen's best draw here is probably just Lightning Bolt the Huntmaster, play Bushwhacker, force a chump out of the wolf, and you take 3, 6, 8. So you're at 2. Because you
Yeah.
probably block the Nakatl so you don't
Yeah.
take a ton.
I mean, 2 and 1 are virtually identical. I mean, I guess it gives you another fetch.
Yeah, which is kind of huge in the 5-color deck. But we'll see. Looks like he drew a Path to Exile. No, it
Yeah,
is
it's Path to Exile.
Do you opt to path the Huntmaster, do you think?
I don't know. You could fight through it, but just getting it off the board. I mean, so I guess the consideration is
Path Bushwhacker?
yeah, you can path Bushwhacker. If you
And get
don't
them to
cast
2.
path, you can't Bushwhacker, and then the Huntmaster flips, and then things just kind of accelerate out of control for you.
Because he gets to kill one of your creatures.
Yeah.
And then all Justin has to do is cast 2 spells on his turn and gain 2 more life, draw or make a wolf. So here's a Bushwhacker. He is going to swing for lethal, so this is a forced chump block.
Yeah.
Luckily, it is just a wolf token, so it's not huge. But if Justin doesn't draw anything on his next turn, that's just going to be the game for the most part.
Yeah, I think we miscalculated at some point. If he blocks the Nicatl, he goes to 1.
Does he?
Yeah.
Because it's 3 from Goblin Guide, 3 from Burning Tree, 2 from
Oh,
Bushwhacker.
I give the Bushwhacker a +1/+02. That's my
Yes.
fault. Yeah, so he can go to 2.
So that does allow him to fetch 1 more time in this game, which might be very relevant. If he doesn't believe it's relevant, you can always trade with a creature.
Yeah.
And then just hope that you'll be fine the next turn. You probably trade with Burning Tree.
Sure.
If you don't think you need
He's
to
got
fetch first. again.
another Vannifar on top.
A lot of Vannifars.
A lot of Vannifars.
She is legendary.
Yeah.
Can't have more than 1 on the board.
Yeah.
So he does opt to trade. So he will go to 1. So
Yeah.
he gets the untap. I mean, Kitchen Finks doesn't even do it here. You can go Birds,
Vannifar.
Vannifar, block,
Block, block,
you
block.
lose. You have to
Yeah.
have a land to be able to do that.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
A non-fetching, non-shock land.
It's
So a basic.
3 Vannifars don't do much for you, though.
No.
No, they don't. That's too bad.
But I mean, like, if you do go Bird, Vannifar, if you go land, Bird, Vannifar,
Okay.
just block, 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 you live a turn, and if you have any 1 to 2 drop, you win the game.
Yeah.
But it's not looking great either way.
Well, he needs to
Like,
have a land. I don't think he has the
yeah.
land. Because that
he needs an
line is
untapped,
available.
non-shockable land.
Yeah.
Or non-pain land, I should just
Yeah.
say it
He
like
needs to
that.
lose no life to it.
But we'll see. He could have just Bird 3-drop, something like Bounding Crisis, maybe tap down a creature, and then when he attacks, you can eat one of the creatures.
I mean, I guess the Bounding Crisis is actually functions as 2 creatures, yeah.
Yes. We will see, though. I mean, Eldritch Evolution also in hand.
Okay, so Eldritch Evolution could go get a Kitchen Finks.
Go, yeah, because it's +2. Go get Kitchen Finks for 3. So you tap 2. You have a Finks and a Bird. You're at 3. That lets you live at 1 again, and then you go back up to 3, and you eat one of the creatures.
Scavenging Ooze, maybe? I don't know.
I don't think you have enough green mana
Okay,
to like live.
sure.
Night of Autumn, gain 4 life. Block.
Okay.
You go to 1 again. A lot of this involves going to 1 again. So a bulk still kills you.
So you have a weird, you have to make a line where you're going to end up back at 1, but you need to somehow forward the board position to where you're in a better spot than when you were a second ago.
Yeah, so here goes Night, gain life. Now he can go Birds, block, block. He can go to 3 technically.
Yep.
Still not the best position to be in. However, not dead on the following turn.
Yeah.
So it allows him to draw 2 and out, which would be
One of those 3 Vannifars.
yeah, right. Gosh. We'll.
Bert, oh, he's got a Noble as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
he'll stay at 5.
will stay at 5. I mean, maybe he decides not to block.
The Queen is going to draw cards as well, so.
I mean, he could
This
draw
could go
both, so you
somewhere.
might think you have to block. Okay, it was a
It's a
Bushwhacker.
hasty Bushwhacker.
Get in and block, block, block. Trigger the Goblin Guy. This is the 4th Vannifar. It's a land.
It's a basic land.
That's actually pretty huge.
Yeah.
So now Justin has the option to throw the Knight in front of the Bushwhacker, chump the Nicatl, go to 1 with a Mana Dork up, cast Vannifar. If you draw another Mana Dork, you can live.
Yeah. Narrow margins here.
I mean, you kind of got to play to your outs in a situation
Yeah,
like this.
you do.
You don't really have a choice. You just have to risk it. Hope he doesn't draw a Bolt next turn. Hope he doesn't draw a Tarkus Command. Hope he doesn't draw a spell.
That's a Birds.
That was Birds. So he can go land, Vannifar, Birds. And if Queen doesn't draw anything, Justin still needs another creature to sack,
But he just needs him to brick exactly one time.
yes. If Queen bricks here, Justin wins.
Yep.
Kind of. Because Queen still attacks all out. You still have to get rid of both your birds, and you still have to have...
Yeah, there's just a Boris Charm.
That ends the game.
Showing off the second and third copies of Vannifar.